Okay, so this is a Mardu Pyromancer Witch deck that's a little bit different than the build that's up on my site. As opposed to trying to be token focused and playing things like Leonin Light Scribe, or playing Dreadhorde Arcanist, this build is looking to leverage the graveyard by escaping Kroxa, Titan of Death's Hunger. So we've got the discard package, Village Rites, Claim the Firstborn. We've got some Faithless Lootings to draw discard to smooth things out. We've got some Skyclave Apparitions, a little bit of interaction at the top end of our curve. So let's go ahead and dive on into some matches with this and see how it goes. How about Modern? Modern is excellent in its current state. Both the addition of various Modern Horizons 2 cards, as well as the bannings of obnoxious things like Faithless Looting and Mox Opal and Simian Spirit Guide did wonders for that format. Orphan Guard implies control, so I'm bottoming the Skyclave Apparition here. Listen, chat. We played Modern and Commander yesterday. Sometimes life comes at you fast and you don't realize how you've ended up in the places that you've gotten to. I've been happy playing. Oh, chat. Chat, we're being treasure hunted. What a delight. If you haven't seen the opponent's deck before, it's one of the many decks you can find on my website in the lovely meme category. So they treasure hunt through their deck, discarding a bunch of cycling cards to hand size, and then they eventually kill you with Zenith Flare. Now I can draw a discard spell still. They ain't got me yet. Mystic Sanctuaries will do me in. This is going to come as a surprise to many of you at home, I am sure, but I unfortunately do not have cards for this matchup in my sideboard. I'm going to cut a couple of removal spells, board in a couple of Klings. What bracket does Cody end up in? Does Cody put you in the sweaty bracket, or are you playing against other bad decks? Five colors is, 5 colors is a good chance of being put up top. My body is ready to put a Nullhide Ferox into play on turn 1, chat. Oh no. Oh no. We talked about this yesterday in yesterday's Meta Monday chat, but I think there's a good chance these discard decks are just not playable for a variety of reasons. Obviously Nullhide Ferox is low on the list, but discard-based disruption is such a difficult sell in the Brainstorm format. People just find their way back to their cards you take away from them so quickly. Ferox is the reason, don't lie to me. Yeah, maybe. So, not only does Brainstorm in response to discard spells let you hide cards that you want to take, but Brainstorm also just helps you rebuild after you get discard spelled. The disruption it provides, even when they don't have Brainstorm, is pretty minimal because of how quickly they're able to reassemble. Yes, getting your discard. I mean, getting any spell memory lapse is pretty miserable. Village Rites this. Refresh your stream, Lost in Space. You can also type !deck in chat. I usually put the decks in the stream title anymore. It's too much effort. Put the format in the stream title at least. Erstig, thanks for the 17 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Well, shit. We're being Panza, chat. Oh, no! Oh, shit! I thought this was coming into play untapped because I had a Blood Crypt. Oh! It's gonna get yikes for me, dog. Now they're gonna kill our other black source. Oh, you know what? I should probably have Helix this before they could mutate onto it, huh? Woof. That's a little bit of an oversimplification, Merchant, but yeah, loosely. It's part of the reason why the only successful Thoughtseize deck in the format right now, and it's only somewhat successful, is the black aggro deck, because it pairs the Thoughtseizes with a really aggressive clock. I assume this is gonna miss, but I want the tokens. This is why we killed the goose for reference. They're gonna exile a land to make mana. Oh, they draw land. Questing Beast. You're not allowed to put cards in your Panza deck that actually kill me. It's cheating. My witch is very scary, chap. Questing Beast is much afeared. She's very menacing. And will Village Rites whatever token they block. Our opponent's dojo contains fear, chat. They are much afraid. Okay? Okay? So you're saying there's a chance? Yeah, they did choose to play around Helix. Listen, chat, they can be a coward for lots of reasons. Man, we're actually gonna erase this Clifftop. Feels good, man. Hey, BC Toy, thanks for the half a year. Welcome back. Turning Dawn, thanks for the year and a half. Good afternoon. This is one of the matchups for flooding has upside, yep. Scavangling Ooze. Noise, noise. Bedlam Reveler is going to be a sweet addition, for sure. Bedlam being a way to gas back up once Faithless Looting puts you down cards should be huge. All right, the Ponza matchup. We want extra Skyclave. Do I want cheap ways to kill their mana creatures? Probably. Magma Spray seems fine. Magma Spray is probably just better than Claim. I don't have that many ways to sacrifice things. Mostly just Village Rites. Maybe this is cut the discard spells, keep the things that play to the board. I guess most of their things I want to take are expensive, so maybe we'll cut the Inquisitions and put in Abrade. Would Naya Magecraft be interested in using Bedlam as a top end to gas back up? I don't know if that's better than Luris. Yes, we played the Adventure Storm deck before this one. We'll be up on YouTube this evening. It wasn't a Magic game. It was the Forgotten Realms Dark Alliance. It's the new D&D branded thing. If you check my Twitter, I tweeted out a scathing review of it that someone else had posted. Did a really good job of highlighting the issues. Where'd the D&D spoiler card come from? Unsure. I'm gonna mulligan the two-lander versus Ponza, I think. I guess we'll keep this one. It has both of our colors. To start, it has both of my colors. It might not have both of my colors for long, but... They put a filter over their preview card and people were able to get the real image behind the filter. Yikes. Let's, When do spoilers officially start? Does anybody know? Well, this kills me, but this kills my land. I'm supposed to looting there. And this is the problem with looting in these decks. Like, if you look at the Mardu list on my site, it's not a Faithless Looting deck. And the reason why it's not a Faithless Looting deck is we just, like, don't have enough cards we want to actively put into the graveyard, is the tough thing. I definitely should have cast this last turn. But still feels bad, man. This at its core, while it provides selection, is also card disadvantage. You're spending a card to draw 2, discard 2. 16 months, T-Chat. Thanks for re-upping, Super Strange. Welcome back. It's good to see you again. Thanks for keeping me around. Yeah, you either need to be using the graveyard as an active resource, which Kroxa kinda counts as, but not exactly, or you need to. Yeah, we're just dead. Or you need to and honestly, with their Klothys, maybe I'm supposed to trim these. They have so many Klothys. My K command in board in Lyra. Like, modern always had, like, Lingering Souls or Dredge decks. And honestly, so, like, there's a lot of people who have been very incorrectly being like, oh, we should have known Brainstorm was too good in this format and it would go into everything because it was busted in Legacy. And I honestly think Faithless Looting is kind of a great testament to the opposite of that, right? Outside of, obviously, exactly Phoenix, which is also a Brainstorm deck, Faithless Looting hasn't been ubiquitous in this format, and there's an important reason for that, right? Like, the card disadvantage that Faithless Looting provides, if I'm being completely honest, just as, like, a healthy reminder that evaluating Magic cards is hard because the context is important, always, if you would have asked me before we played any games with Strixhaven cards, if I expected Looting or Brainstorm to be the more busted card in the format, I would have told you Faithless Looting. I was expecting, if there was going to be a problem card out of the cards we were getting, I would have expected it to be Looting more than Brainstorm. And I was wrong. The way the format has played out, that is definitely not the case. Yeah, you go back and look at feedback on Oko. People were uncertain if that card would be playable, which we obviously know how that turned out, right? I'm definitely discarding the Blood Crypt. I think it's the Abrade. I think I want to hold the Village Rites for if I find something worth sacrificing. So, Popper, people talking about Brainstorm in non-whatever formats. Popper's actually kind of an interesting experiment with Brainstorm. And I actually, something that, and again, goes back to power level is contextual. It's not that Brainstorm is awful at Pauper, it's that Ponder and Preordain are better. And I think, honestly, we would see the same thing in Historic, too. I think if Ponder and Preordain were legal in this format, Brainstorm probably wouldn't see play. It would only see play in decks like Dragonstorm that have stuff they want to shuffle away. So, Brainstorm is worse than Ponder and Preordain, I think, a lot of the time. But, like, those cantrips are so good, there's a lot of room to be worse than those cards and still be playable. Is the important thing to get at. Alright, keeping the Village Rites is paying off here. Opponent starts real slow because their mana's been awkward. Honestly, if you think about it, it's kind of some karmic justice that the Ponza deck's having awkward mana because it exists to give other people awkward mana. Imagine if Ponder was legal in Historic. To be a typical Magic player and make a strong statement for a second, if Ponder was legal, I think that's probably one that every blue deck would play. Like even blue-white auras would like to play 4 Ponders, I think. I don't know that all of them would play Serum Visions. Like, I don't think Serum Visions is strong enough that, like, blue-white auras would play it, for example. Ponder's real good. Ponder is like a once upon a time level cantrip. It's messed up. Is Ponder locked a thing where you have one card you want, but the other 2 are crappy? So, there is some value to being able to clear your Ponders, but also it's like, if you chose to lock yourself, you're getting a card that's worthwhile doing so, essentially. About to end this opponent's entire career. Kroxa getting the flex here. Yeah, getting to Village Rites the Skyclave Apparition is kind of gas. Yeah, what Drakari said. You obviously can Ponder Lock technically exist, but you're always choosing to do it. Which means if you're doing it, you're like, okay, this was a worthwhile trade-off for the thing I'm getting. Always comparable is Ponder to Expressive Iteration. So, the fact that one of the things to think about, and this is a good way to kind of contextualize the power level of a card like Ponder versus Expressive Iteration, is that Expressive Iteration costs twice as much mana as Ponder. Is the way to say it. I know it's like 2 versus 1 sound comparable, but in terms of efficiency, they're just not close, right? Is what it comes down to. These have definitely been Hands of Magic the Gathering cards. Expressive Iteration is also powerful in different ways than Ponder, because while it costs twice as much mana than Ponder, it also gives you twice as many cards, right? Expressive Iteration is card advantage, whereas Ponder is card selection. And those things are better or worse in different spots, is an important thing to acknowledge. Iteration, yeah, what Blong said there is true. Iteration is the best draw 2 that's ever been printed in Magic. They don't get more efficient than that. Sweet. This Black Source is actually a great draw here. We have a real shot. So I think we Helix the Pelt Collector here, and then we can block this here and then Village Rites it. Hey, Vortal, thank you for the tier 3 and for the 21 months. I really appreciate the support. Welcome back. Sorry, obviously Asterisk Ancestral Recall. Yeah, Recall's technically a draw 3 as well. Hey, Yellow Hat, thanks for the raid, Deceive. Hope you had a great stream this morning. You're hanging out playing some Mardu Pyromancer here in Historic. Might about to get run down by Brawl. See what our Village Rites brings us. We have 3 more copies of Lightning Helix in our deck. If we can find another one of those, we should be in a pretty good spot. That's not bad either. Get to go ahead and double removal this turn. Hey, Kaiser, thanks for the Prime support. Well, there's a ton of great people like Deceive that you can send that to every single month. Thanks for dropping it off here this month. So this has got to tag a 3-drop, and I think it's definitely tagging Spellbreaker, right? Because that one has Trample. And then we'll go ahead and Bloodchief's Thirst the Voltaic Brawler. We can kill that without Kicker. Okay. I mean, we have Witch. If we find another... If we find another cheap spell to pair with this, we can be in a really decent spot here. Bob the Dominatrix and Arthur, thanks for the follows. Welcome to the channel. So, here's a question. Do I trade these in here and give them a 3/3 without Trample? Because the 3/3 without Trample is like much better for us, right? I guess I'm at 18. I'm going to take hits here for a little bit and save myself fucker. Our life total's still relatively high. Famous last words. No, there's a Gruul Spellbreaker underneath this. We Bloodchief's Thirst the Brawler. What's going on, Hand-Me-Down? Good afternoon. So I think we hold this in hand because we are a Faithless Looting deck. So if we draw Looting, there's a chance we can turn this Sacred Foundry into an actual spell. And then I think this threatens to get big enough that I'm going to offer a trade here, and they're going to decline it, so we get 2 free points of damage. If they take that trade, that's good for us, so might as well get our hit in here. Okay, I mean, all things considered, that could have gone worse. These get bigger when we eventually kill other things, but... Ooh, they're offering... Huh. Yeah, I'm aware they have Elf. Do I trade Skoos? Like, I could do this. I could also chump this trade here. I think I like this. I think our out to get back in this game is keep these and, like, peel a Faithless Looting into a Helix here, and then generate a bunch of jump blockers. And if the out is Faithless Looting, taking the Skoos off the table makes it a better out. I guess these Pelt Collectors get too bigger with this line is the problem. Okay. The life gain on Witches might help us tread water here. Again, holding this in case we peel a Looting. If they use Oasis on Spellbreaker, they force us to trade with our Sedgemoor Witch, but not a whole lot we can do that. Second Trampler probably does it. Puts us to 1. It's gotta be like looting into Helix. Even then, probably still dead. The worst part about getting 1 here, chat, is I can't shock myself to concede. I mean, to be fair, their collecting company was pretty bad. But it was more than 16 cards that they saw, because they saw the... what's it called? The company. So we have Abrade and K-Command for answers to, what's it called? We also mulliganed to 5 that game and missed our 3rd land drop on 3. So, like, all things considered, I consider that kind of an impressive showing for what our deck was trying to do. Flooded a little bit at the end there, but we didn't have a lot of resources to start. What's going on, Blue Mage? Thanks for the quarter of a year. Welcome back. I don't think As Foretold is an historic, is it? Was that one in Amonkhet? It wasn't, right? I think that was one that got left out of the remaster, if I recall correctly. Can someone fact check that? It was in? You put it in your Brawl deck? Okay. Yeah, I guess I was like, I felt like maybe we would have done something with that card, but I guess you're right. There's nothing that really abuses it in this format, huh? Yes, the mono white hammer time deck that we played this morning in Modern was excellent. If you didn't catch that one, it's worth going back to rewatch. It'll be up on the YouTube channel tonight. Good sets of Magic for sure. Okay, sweet. Thanks for the link, Erdaz. Yeah, it's definitely one that I just haven't played with, so it's like out of sight, out of mind. Do I looting on 1 bin the Kroxa? Maybe? And again, like, these are the ones where it's just kind of awkward, because it's like, well, I kind of want to cast looting, but I also, like, don't have anything that I really want to put in the bin. It's like, discarding this is fine, but, like, playing it would also be fine. I'm gonna gamble on no stomp here. If they stomp this and then I play these, we get to escape Kroxa real quick. This will be card 4, this is card 5, 6, so... Murder my Pyromancer at your own risk. Turn 4, 6, 6 is pretty good in this matchup. Especially on the play. I like the artwork on these, but I wish there was an option to always have them be in English. It's elegant that when you mouse over them, they turn into English, but... as someone who likes their cards to look kind of uniform, I always hated playing with foreign language cards in paper. They just feel out of place. I killed both of these. I'm gonna kill the Bone Crusher Giant next turn. And again, that's card 5 in the bin. This will be card 6. So worth noting that Faithless Looting did enable our fast Kroxa here, which is nice. Yeah, it definitely makes it stand out. That's definitely a stylistic choice you could prefer. I just prefer things look more uniform when I'm playing. Yeah, they look good in English. We gotta delve the Faithless Looting here, but I think that's a worthwhile exchange. I mean, Mardu Pyromancer would be stronger in Modern if looting was legal because of things other than Kroxa. Things like Bedlam Reveler and Lingering Souls give that archetype a lot of power. Which, someone mentioned earlier we're going to get Bedlam Reveler in this deck. That'll be a big upgrade for sure. I'm gonna play this land out. We do have a couple lootings left in the deck, but I'd like to be able to Skyclave plus play a 2-mana spell next turn if we draw one. Like, the Dark Alliance review is like, I've seen some really buggy games that claim to be released, but it honestly might have the most issues of any game I've ever seen someone stamp a release tag on. Like, the amount of bugs that reviewer ran into in their 4 or 5 hours of gameplay to create the review that they showcased in 30 minutes was just, like, incredible. I guess if they have a decent collected company here and they trade with Kroxa, we'd be at parity. Oh, you know what? Should I Skyclave the elf so if they have collected company they have to play it pre-combat? MLG, thanks for the follow. It's much worse than Cyberpunk. Yeah, I think I messed up here. I think I was supposed to do this pre-combat. That's fine. We're still a little bit ahead here. Faithless Looting is going to help us fill the bin back up for this. Stop my Skyclave. Listen, chat. Just because your card says instant in the corner doesn't mean you have to play it on my turn. At the very least, if you're going to play it on my turn, you should do it during the upkeep so you don't give me a chance to draw Village Rites and Savage you. Alright, on the draw for game 3. That was the easy game, remember. Now we gotta try and win a game on the draw. It's gonna be more challenging. I don't think we have any sideboard changes, though. I think we're happy with what we're set up with. Is Inquisition more of a game 1 card? Inquisition is a card that you don't want in your deck when the matchup is about playing to the board, which this matchup is definitely about playing to the board. I'm actually going to bottom the looting here because the rest of the cards in my hand are good. So the 10 months forever. I go mad with power. We shall see. Magic Phoenix. Hey, thanks for the tier 1 sub, Anakin. Good afternoon. Thanks for hanging out. Helix is a nice pickup here. Honestly, if our next 3 draws are lands at this point, we'd be pretty happy. Nice. Good start, good start. Bob, thanks for the tip. Not sure if Historic Brawler is still going, but if it is, I figured you get kicked. It is still going, Bob. I'm planning to do, so I had this submission and the submission before it were my last 2 regular Historic submissions. I'm planning to do more Historic Commander / Brawl tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday. I've been having a lot of fun with that format. Hopefully there's enough people playing it and enjoying it that yell at Wizards of the Coast they make it a permanent queue. I would love to have Historic Brawl be part of my regular rotation. Okay, there's another land. Playing the untapped land tier so I can hold up Village Rites in case they have a Bone Crusher Giant. Sounds good, Anakin. I'll take a peek at that when I'm offline today and let you know. If you have a link to signups for your tournament, though, you can feel free to post it in chat. Always happy to help promote community stuff. Any preferences for 60 or 100 card Brawl? As someone who's taught introductory statistics classes to both teenagers and adults, the psychology behind people and statistics is so strange to me. You're the second or third person that I've heard from this week that has asserted they have more mana issues in their 100 card deck. And while the extremes in a 100 card deck when it comes to flood or screw are definitely bigger, the average case is almost identical. Like, the number of more extreme cases out of the total number of cases, like, the TLDR is that fundamentally, functionally, you're not more likely to have mana issues with more cards. The issue is more likely that your 100 card decks aren't built properly. I would encourage you to double check that your deck with more cards in it has the appropriate ratio of resources. Because the ratios are different. So there's more variance in a 100 card deck in terms of which cards you're drawing, but the only variance from the actual mana base would come from the fact that your number of dual lands is a bit lower. So I think we're dead here, right? I just don't have anything to make tokens with. I can like play this. I guess I can play this and sack it to Village Rites and make a token. If I draw exactly a 1 mana black removal spell, we could be okay. I experienced some mana screw with 100 card Brawl. I used a list from a website with 36 lands. Then I heard you talk 40 was the expected for 40 is low. For reference, if you heard me talk about 40 yesterday, 40 is the low side. 40 would be like the minimum. You should for 40 lands in your 100 card deck is the equivalent of playing 24 lands in a 60 card deck. And think of, go look at my website, for example, and look at how many 25, 26, 27 land decks are up there. Mana, what Dannon is saying is true also. Artifact mana helps. So, like, if you look at a lot of the decks I was playing yesterday, I was playing, like, 40 to 42 lands, and I was playing 2 to 5 pieces of artifact or ramp mana. Hey, Bob, can you have another? You definitely can. I'll get those queued up for tomorrow. Thanks for the follow, level up, Josh. Thanks for the 30 months. Almost missed that, Wolfie. 2.5 years is a long time. Hey, Megan, thanks for the brand new Prime. This is, I guess we could discard a looting to a looting. I appreciate Jeff Bezos' money. Jeff Bezos' money just spends better than normal money, chat. With this draw, do we wait to looting post Pyromancer? Maybe? We'll play a tap lane to start. Cody or nah, thanks for the prime. Welcome to the channel. Okay, and with this play, Teamer Pelt Collector. Opponent's playing something sweet, it looks like. I think we just Helix here. And then hopefully we draw an untapped red source to get to go Pyromancer looting next turn, or Pyromancer Thoughtseize. Yeah, I agree with that, Blue Mage. Looting is a card that's, it's not like Opt, right? You don't want to play it at the first opportunity, because ideally you want to have more information when you play it. Oh, a whole bunch of primes. Thanks, Bubba Thin. Appreciate the Bezo bucks. Hey, I'm glad you're enjoying Historic Panzer. Matches like this where we get to play brews against each other are real sweet. The top tier in Historic right now is a little bit toxic, but in general, I'm enjoying the aspects of the format. I think we just take the Decisive Denial, right? So it lets them interact with my Pyromancer. Also potentially counters my Helix. They can tempo us a little bit with this, but that's not the end of the world. Thanks, Bubba. So, while I'm loving the power level matchmaking in Brawl, Commander, I think it would be not great to have on the actual ladder. This is a point of reference. So, on best of one in the play queue, it already exists. It does not exist in ranked. So the deck strength matchmaking is for the unranked queue in Magic Arena, is an important distinction. Alright, let's Pyromancer, and then let's looting before our land drop, so we might want to loot this one away. Okay, with that draw, I might keep the land. I'm gonna ditch looting Kroxa. The thing you might be thinking of, Shadow Lord, is the best of one ranked queue does contain the hand smoothing algorithm. So in best of one on Arena in general, it smooths your hand drawing. Huh. So if I claim the Firstborn, I can escape Kroxa, which I think is worthwhile. I have to exile both my lootings, but it's going to be a lot of pressure. I have Helix to gain some life back here. Chuck you for 3. World's fanciest lightning bolt. When I'm really bored, I queue into best of one unranked with mono white, and I mulligan until I hit Drannith Magistrate for the trickery decks. That's hilarious. Yeah, I think if you can get good games of Magic, like, in my opinion, black-based mid-range decks generate some of the best games of Magic has to offer. They usually have interaction that can deal with a lot of different things, and they're decks that play to the board very heavily. And in my opinion, one of the best things about Magic as a game system is its combat. So decks like this tend to really care about attacking and blocking in a meaningful way. And Koshi, thanks for the Prime support. Welcome back. Yeah, but opponent's build is interesting. So they've got Pelt Collector, which implies something a little bit more aggressive, but they're going bigger with Quandrix Apprentice as well. I feel like Pelt Collector makes me want to bring in more cards that play to the board and edge away from discard spells. We'll see. I might reassess the discard spells if we see more counter spells out of them in the post-board games. Just Quandrix, just the fighty counter spell doesn't make me want to have discard. Could be a Lyra matchup. He's a pretty big gal if they're aggressive. This is probably fine, right? We brick off on black lands for a little bit. We can Faithless Looting to try and shift into them, or just get rid of the black cards while we cast other things. I'll shock this in case they play a creature on 2. I want to Magma Spray it. Having an empty board when we play Pyromancer sounds appealing. A Memory Lapse deck. Just got a burn spell of their own. Bone Daddy makes sense. You can Helix that one at least. Okay. We rip untap Black Source next turn, we can go Sedgemoor into Faithless Looting. Start generating some tokens. Sedgemoor into Magma Spray to kill that. Nailed it, chat. Look at that. Never didn't have it. I'm gonna pay 3 life to bounce my thing? Oh, we're stepping on her. Rude. It's really unfortunate we don't have second black here. So, because if we could Village Rites this, they wouldn't get their giant. But alas. Opponents play like adventure aggro with Magecraft. What if they're a what's it called deck? A Clover deck. The Pelt Collectors feel a little bit out of place with what they have going on. Yeah, Goth Pyro is a great design. I'm really looking forward to playing with Goth Pyro in the Fallen standard. That'd be sweet. How do we feel about running back the Skyclave Village Rites? I think I'm into it. So if you sack the Skyclave to Village Rites before its first trigger resolves, you exile their thing and they don't get a token. Yeah, but like the token is less valuable than like their 4th Rune Beach White. Yikes. Alright, well, looting's gonna get to hopefully power us through here a little bit. Getting to work through those lands feels nice. You can prevent a little bit more flood here by bidding 2 more. 5 mana is definitely plenty. Really looking for a Kroxa here at this point. Yeah, looting is an excellent mid-game card. For better or worse, Faithless Looting getting Memory Lapse does not go on top of our deck because part of the rules text of Flashback is if it would go anywhere, it's exiled instead. This works out quite perfectly for us. Got to get an adventure creature there. Nice! And there's the Kroxa we wanted for Christmas. And the fact that we found the Kroxa and they already used their Brazen Bar up here is huge. They binned Quandrix's command. That could have shuffled... Okay, I was just about to say, binning this would imply they have another anti-graveyard card. Because this could have shuffled away the Kroxa. Yes, if two replacement effects would impact a card simultaneously, the controller of that card dictates which one happens. It's not... The Faithless Looting thing is not a replacement effect, Duck Doolittle. If that's what you're referring to. I don't believe so, at least. You definitely can't put it on top of your deck. That's not an option. I might have the vernacular wrong, but functionally that's how it works. Alright, and if they exile our graveyard with Soul Guide Lantern to deny us Faithless Looting, they don't get to draw a card with it. Yeah, so they're taking the card draw and leaving us the looting as a resource. That's nice. A specific part about flashback, if you look at the flashback rules text, Duck Doolittle, says if this card would go anywhere other than exile it when it resolves. If you look at the full flashback rules text, that includes that basically. Well, weird that they didn't just cast this. They wanted to hold green up for some reason. Oh, they wanted to hold up bounce plus cast. Got it. I've got 2 lootings left in my deck here still. So again, holding these lands because looting could maybe turn this land into something else if we draw one. Opponent's gonna have us under a pretty quick clock here, unfortunately. So not gonna have a lot of time to brick off. Kroxa, probably the best draw in our deck. We'll close out the game pretty quickly in the opposite direction. Might be looking at a game 3 here. I don't know if it's correct to say flashback exiling is a replacement effect. I think that might be the confusion that we're having here. Like this one, I would like to kill. No! Fucking auto tapper! Ugh, damn it! I guess I could shock and do this with the Village Rites again. I didn't want to do this, but here we are. You have to always check the auto tapper if you need to consider spells that aren't currently in your hand, because the auto tapper only takes into consideration cards that are currently in your hand. Alas, 2 sorcery speed removal spells. Close game. Close game. Am I happy with how I boarded? I think so. Yeah, as someone who's played a lot of video games, Sojourner, however bad you think the review of the Dark Alliance game is, trust me when I tell you whatever you're envisioning in your head right now, the actual game and review is much more scathing and worse than that. It is atrocious. It is embarrassing that it was released and being sold in the state that it's in. PC Gamer gave it an 82. Yikes. Hey, EA Trek, thanks for the 20 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. There's a shadow on our board supposed to be. Oh, this thing? Yeah, I don't know. No, not these shadows here from the stack, chap. There's like a shadow that goes up and down here. You see it? It goes down and then it curves up and then it goes back down like this, off to the right side here. So obviously this is a shadow from the stack. This is more subtle. I'm just gonna play Sedgemoor Witch here. They want a 1-for-1 this, go ahead. They're gonna do that at some point. Oh, I missed a point of damage here. I was going to do this, so I should have gotten the Magecraft trigger first. And I'd rather Bloodchief's Thirst than Helix, because Helix, while more resource efficient on this turn, this kills Brazen Borrower and Bone Crusher Giant for just 2 mana, whereas this has to pay 4 to kill those. So, being less resource efficient this turn is likely to gain us resource efficiency on a future turn. And if they want to kill this with the Flame Sweep we know they have, that puts the extra card in the bin for Kroxa, so go ahead and kill my Witchy Poo. Sure. Again, at the point where I want to hold lands in case we draw one of our 4 copies of looting. Alright, well, punished for my Helix, whatever sequencing earlier. I just got a Helix plus a Abrade this now, right? I miss lethal. Alright, I'm aware I miss lethal. I'd like the record to reflect I'm aware I miss lethal. Everybody calm down. The worst part about this miss lethal is that my opponent also gets to know I miss lethal because the Kroxa is face up. We're gonna lose this game and we deserve to lose it. Rick Skipper, thanks for the half a year. Welcome back. I was in control mode and wasn't counting burning them out. It's fine. We're still ahead, chat. The worst kind of mislethal is the one your opponent knows about, right? And hey, look! They can't kill Sedgemoor Witch because they're at 3 now. Please concede. Alright, see chat. Like McNuck said, we didn't miss lethal, it's just maturing like a fine wine. It was a content punt. I had to build tension in our storyline, make you think that we could lose. Remember, chat, there's no justice here, it's just us. Just us here. No justice, just us. We had a daily challenge to kill the opponent's creature. It's the big brain thought. Arian's pretty okay. We have 2 removal spells. I guess I can, like, take the Village Rites, then my claim is awkward. Pretty sure we want to do this because it prevents them from playing Spawn next turn. This comes back eventually, but it takes some time and it takes some mana. I want to just try and stabilize the board here a little bit. I think we do this rather than play the Witch this turn, because I don't want the Witch to run into a removal spell if I can avoid it. Man, that's bad for us. Okay, so I think the plan here is tapped land into Witch, tapped land into Witch Helix. We take 5. We take, yeah, I think we live for that. That's great, Cyan. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So if they don't draw a snow-covered swamp here, now they just like draw another creature. Fuck. Well, shit. Man, if they would have just bricked last turn, we could have had 2 tokens here. Unfortunately, the way the cookie crumbled, I have to do this. And I think we're just not recoverable at this point. Really needed them to not force the witch block that turn. This game. Magma sprays are great here. Clings are good. It's a matchup where we cut all of these discard spells. So we just want more cards that play to the board. Really from a looting. Don't want to spend resources on that early. Okay, command's a little slow. Maybe 2 clings is not good. But cling technically doesn't impact the board. The life gain is nice, and sometimes getting rid of the recursive threats is decent, but... Bloodsoaked Champion. Yeah, they probably just play 16 1-drops when they get Bloodsoaked Champion, huh? That's likely what they want to do. I'm sure we're going to be talking about it off and on over the next few days, Hyde. It really was something. Really surprised we didn't Thoughtseize first to take my Magma Spray, because it was definitely the best removal spell in my hand by a lot. I just make a token here. I think I just make a token in Cantrip. Yeah, there have been, Danny. I do let's say bi-weekly now, meta review. If you take a peek at the Meta Monday thing here on the YouTubes, it gives a good breakdown of kind of where the format's at. I think I ditched these, and then, like, attack for 3, play Witch. My body is ready to get, like, crippling or whatever next turn. I mean, like... This is a removal spell, but it's a removal spell that's not killing a Kroxa now, so God bless. This would imply they don't have a sweeper, which is good to know. Good lord. Yikes. Alright, so we need to draw a Skyclave Apparition. Yeah, there have been no hints by Wizards in terms of format adjustments. They told us when they banned Time Warp that they were going to be watching the format closely, but... They did bring the chains back, which is great. They're dead on board, right? Because they made us discard? Math, chat. Math. Math is magic. Magic is math? Magic's definitely a big part of what sparked me wanting to do math as a child. My local store is doing effing again, but they changed them to modern, and I'm broke. Is Mardu cards good enough in modern? I mean, Smuggler's Copter's legal in modern, right? Glass half full. What's going on, Float Mana? Welcome back. So, the impact this card is likely to have next turn, casting it this turn, is low. So I think I'm playing this tapped. So this way, if I draw an untapped Black Source, I can Kroxa Village Rites the Kroxa next turn. Potentially convert one of these Village Rites into something meaningful. And if we miss on that, Kroxa is something I don't mind discarding to Faithless Looting, so we'll go land looting if we brick on the Black Source. That being said, taking the last card out of their hand has some appeal. It could just be another recursive card, though. Yeah, I'm going to cast Faithless Looting, try and get to this Kroxa for next turn. I guess I only have 4 cards in there. It's a lot of damage, chat. This cycles to let us escape Kroxa the next turn. Yikes. Yikes. So close. Needed to be a little bit smoother. Yep. Unfortunate. Can only block one thing here, and any 2 are lethal. Alright. We're not done with Mardu Pyromancer yet. We're going to play for another half hour, 45 minutes. This deck hasn't been super powerful, but I just enjoy these kind of black mid-range decks. They're fun to play. I need to run to the restroom really quick, though, so I'll be back in just a minute. Thanks for hanging out. Don't go anywhere. Hey, Justin Drake, thanks for the third of year. I appreciate the prime. Welcome back. I got my dad an Oculus for Father's Day and got to play ping pong on it for a bit, and I've lost 5 pounds in 2 days. Oh, this is a good workout. I've actually got some free VR games for the PlayStation. I should look into getting a VR thing for it. The PS Plus or whatever it's called that I have had some free VR games on it at one point. This could be extra amusing to play on stream. I would probably need to clean my office a little bit. It's kind of a disaster behind me. PSVR 2 announced for 2022. Oh, maybe if they're coming out with a big update for it, I'll wait. I'll wait for that to happen. I'm not in a rush. I've heard good things about Beat Saber. That's not one we could play on stream, unfortunately. What's going on, Doctor? Oh, I think Squadrons is free this month. I should make sure I snag that one for my library. Ooh, some big red here from the opponent. Let's go ahead and Kroxa to start, and then next turn. Maybe I'm supposed to prioritize Thoughtseize this turn, because they could Chandra me next turn. Oh, Dog Mom. How big is your red deck, opponent? The Chandra here.
What? My hair is on fire? Oh, this is gonna hurt.
God. Well, I'm glad we have Thoughtseize, otherwise we could get Ugin next turn. Our deck never beats an Ugin. Huh? I think it's gotta be Hedron Archive. I need to stop them from drawing into Ugin. If I can avoid it.
Oh, today's my lucky day.
I want to Bloodchief's Thirst the Chandra. Putting 4-drops under Skyclave always feels risky. Like them getting a 4/4 back afterwards is like real downside. It's a threat that kills you pretty quickly. This looting will give us enough cards in the bin to escape Kroxa, which is sweet. Maybe I should have chump blocked last turn. Ooh, that's a good reward for not chump blocking. Definitely ditching this. I'm gonna keep this just in case they peel another Hazoret or Chandra. Those are both pretty scary threats. Nothing but the looting, chat. It's all gotta go. Oh, I guess we technically have one over. Yeah, we're at 7. I think I probably want land number... They drew in response, which would imply that their last card is good. Thankfully, they're 2 mana off of an Ugin right now. They had an Ugin, yep. Big Daddy is what they had. Now, the real question is, did they draw a second Ugin? Or what did they draw that... Oh. Oh! Ooh.
Had other things to burn.
They gonna trade these? They might just trade these. Kroxa is my way that I kill them. Yeah, just trading these.
Glad I could help with your
Their deck doesn't have many Chandra answers. Alright, Chip. I'm not beating a sweeper. The clock is like tick-tocking down until they draw an Ugin and lands to cast it, so let's pump the gas here and try and end this game. I have an opinion of this versus the Mardu tokens list on the site. I think I'm partial to the tokens list. Kroxa is good, but the being soft to graveyard hate is not a place I love being. I'll do pig. This is definitely a tough matchup for our mid-range deck, no matter how you cut it. Just have so many good top decks. Or basically on the like, play a discard spell and pray plan. Yeah, Kroxa's... No, we're talking about this versus the tokens list. This is actually a matchup where Kroxa's very good. They have 6 mana Chandra or Ugin that can answer, but outside of that, they don't really have mana efficient ways to answer a Kroxa, which is a saving grace in a lot of situations. Not all of them, obviously, but in a number of them. Found out that despite all the Strixhaven I've opened, I haven't opened any Helix. I mean, it is one of the rares. Doesn't surprise me too much. Probably unfortunate, but not that far outside the average, I would wager. Inquisition to clear something like a Sweltering Suns here, which is nice. Honestly, there could be merit to waiting to play this till turn 2. Hand meat cookie jar, I guess. Excited for them to hit every land drop this game. Yeah, once they hit the second one, the odds of them hitting the rest of them are really high, right? Red Nolis, thanks for the follow. This is a Despark, BT dubs, for people that aren't used to these weird arts. My boy Bolas getting done wrong here. We're playing the weird arts because they're the default art when you import the deck list now. I wish they were in English all the time, because I prefer my cards to be the same language, but I agree, they look good. They look good in English too. I just wish like this said Despark in my hand from a spectator perspective. Oh man, did they miss a land drop? That's exciting. Alright, kill my threat already so I can draw some cards. What's going on, Parzi? Good afternoon. Thanks for the follow. Wait for them to pay for the ward here. Okay. Missed land drop. That's exciting. I'm gonna open with Inquisition, because if they have only like one card I can take, yeah. Nice. So, something to note here, a decision I made earlier that looks like it could come back to bite me, is I chose not to Helix their Dome on turn 2, because I wanted to try and maybe trigger my Witch or a Pyromancer with it. But the fact that I didn't Helix their Dome on turn 2 now means that I'm short on escaping the Kroxa next turn if I don't draw a 1-mana spell or an untapped land to cast the Helix. So, I don't know that it was wrong to not do it when I didn't do it, but definitely getting a little punished for my sequence. Oh, God. Oh, shit. Oh, we're so dead. You're so dead. Hurts, chat. It hurts. Oh, we even drew the untapped land. It doesn't matter because they have Relic. Alright. Alright. And this is the other side of that coin too. You know, someone's asking earlier, do I like this versus the more token space build? And while there is power in having access to a threat like Kroxa, the downside of, there's a real downside to trying to leverage your graveyard as a resource in Historic. And we see that there in these post-board games where, you know, Relics, Rest in Peace, Soul Guide Lanterns, like, Kroxa is not just free. It comes at an extra axis of interactability for your opponent. 2.5 years, Vengeance. Welcome back. I appreciate it. Yeah, as Historic as a format has become more graveyard-centric, cards like Kroxa that are like powerful but not busted that lean on the graveyard have become worse. For sure. We bottom the second looting here. BT Dubs, can I buy... Do they let me pay money for the Japanese looting artwork yet? So I really don't like this looting artwork, and I've got other Japanese artwork, so I might as well get the kid. I know there was an event for it, but usually they put the events up for purchase afterwards. Fine. Are they allowing me to give them money for these yet? I would like to never look at this picture again. Yeah, hopefully we just get the boomer artwork at some point. Opponent is over here charging their lasers. The non-Japanese Faithless Looting has grown on you. I mean, like, warts and moles grow on you. That's not saying something has grown on you isn't necessarily an endearing quality. Much like Pogo, they don't want your money yet. So, I actually wailed a little bit in Pogo to buy a bunch of incubators, and I successfully farmed like almost 100k dust yesterday while I was out for my walk. It's a pretty chunk. So I might do that and spend more money on incubators, just hatch a bunch of eggs, collect that stardust. What am I doing here? I think it's just looting, because they have so many cards. Alright, so there's 4 cards in my bin. What do we think about Bloodchief, Thirst, the Pest, and then Helix at end of turn, so that way I can do this next turn? I think that's the play. What's going on, GLM? Thanks for the follow. Okay. And now I'm going to kill this in response to its enters play triggers, so they can only make 1 Thopter. They didn't make any Thopters at all because they wanna marvel us. Marvelous. Inquisition, you are not Thoughtseize. Stream title don't lie, AK on Twitch. What's going on, Maliev? Thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel. I mean, maybe at some point that could be cool, Twin to win. A majority of my hindering on Pogo PvP is just collecting in-game resources. So I've been neglecting getting deeper into it because I just like don't have the ability to. Like I need 700k dust to get a Masters team built. It's gonna take me a couple weeks. Oh, brainstorm into Marvel, chat. Brainstorm into Marvel. Rhinova, good afternoon. Into Ulamog. Yep. Remember when I said that the stream title doesn't lie? The stream title, for those that haven't checked, by the way, says Historic Brews losing to Brainstorm, which honestly, Brainstorm the Ulamog to the top of my deck has been... is like one of the most direct ways you can lose to that, huh? Yeah, I don't want to cheat. I want to actually do my walking vortex. I'd feel bad. I don't want to break the terms of service for Pogo. And like, and it like actually gives me a good excuse to get out. Like I walked 48 kilometers last week. I can't tell you the last time I exercised that much. far is that in freedom units? It's like 30 miles. Give or take. 29.8. Sure, sounds right. What I want to trim here. All of our options just kind of suck, if I'm being honest. It's probably just Helix to be able to be a little bit linear and race them. Basically just have to run them down. And this kind of highlights the problem with, and I talked about this in the Meta Monday video breakdown yesterday, where over 50% of tournament historic decks for the last 2 weeks have registered Brainstorm, and it's largely pushed these discard-based aggressive decks out of the format because this isn't meaningful disruption as much when your opponent is just seeing as many cards as they get to see with Brainstorms. And like, if we're taking Brainstorms, we're then not taking other cards that help them advance their game plan. So it's kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. It also helps that, like, for people that are new to the channel, I have a 1-year-old, Haley, and she loves walking around the neighborhood. So, like, when I, like, put her in the stroller and we go out for, like, 2 hours and walk around, like, I walked 8 kilometers last night with her in the stroller, and she just loves every minute of it. Let me open on looting here, huh? Get a better idea of what our hand looks like before we Thoughtseize. Okay. You should get miles off a treadmill for poker. You can with Adventure Sync. Put Adventure Sync on and just put your phone in your pocket. People actually use cheating methods, like sit there and make the phone like bounce in a sock to cheat miles. So if you're on the treadmill, you can definitely make it count. So this is 4 cards. This will be 5 cards. Still 1 card short of Kroxa next turn. Well, I guess I'll take a tune with the Aether and I'll clench my butt cheeks and hope for the best. K-Command's been, like, just okay. Just okay is, like, the definition of K-Command. Just doing this. Okay, I mean, their stumble here are taking their selection and making them stumble. It might pay off. Gain 6 is really good, chat. I guess I have Kroxa here. Could be our saving grace. They're gonna sweltering. It's a lot of hours to get into the PvP, Dr. Mister. You basically can't pay to accelerate efficiently, so like there's no way around just like walking and playing. I like the Pogo PvP a lot from a gameplay perspective, but if you don't enjoy the casual collection aspect, I wouldn't recommend getting into it. It's basically only good because I don't mind the casual collection aspect. Okay. All right. So like, it looks like they tried to turn into a more fair game plan, and that's definitely good for us. We are definitely, I think, a favorite when they are not ulamogging us. I tried biking. No, a lot of my going out is with my daughter, so I don't have a bike set up for her. Think we just Thoughtseize on one to see if we could try and do something similar to last game where we kind of induce a stumble. It feels like if we don't induce a stumble, we get into trouble in this matchup. Great. You don't have to worry about that, Socio. I don't really look at where the gifts are from. So, perhaps a small sequencing mistake on my part here. If I would have played Blood Crypt on 1, I could have Faithless Looting without playing a land this turn, and then I would have been able to play this Savai Triome tapped on turn 2, which would have enabled me to play my 3-drop on turn 3 here. So because of the land that I played on my first turn, I'm now playing off curve on turn 3. Really, really good example of how, like, small decisions like that can snowball in Magic. Like, there's a good chance that, like, not having this down there and not using my mana is the difference between winning and losing this game. What is in their hand? Just. Alright, anybody who is wondering where the beef was, our opponent's got you covered. Alright, I'll do it again, I guess. Looking for a 4th land. They topped a card, so my body is ready to get Sweltering Suns next turn. Okay, I mean, that's a Thoughtseize, which means I can... take the Genesis Ultimatum before we get there, and then the hope is to kill them before they get to the Ulamogs. The Woodweaver's Puzzle Knot is actually a pretty decent draw for them, which is why they kept it, because the Woodweaver's Puzzle Knot means that any, what's it called off the top is decent. That being said, we've got a relatively quick clock here. Our opponent kept a kinda clunky hand and hasn't seen any of their card selection, so our discard spells are able to be impactful here. Yeah, that's true. Even if they find Marvel, the Ulamog stuck in their hand mean they're less likely to hit him. Also, we might just be able to get wide enough here that Ulamog doesn't matter. Because Ward makes them pay life for their abilities too, right? Okay. Yeah, I think we're actually in a spot to win this, huh? I'm a pretty big proponent of don't mulligan in these matchups against Thoughtseize decks, but I feel like my opponent probably should have mulliganed this game. That's true. Our opponent could peel an Ugin and get us. Ugin is a lot harder to beat than Ulamog for sure. Ugin would take out the trash that is our board state. No, Kroxa's in the top half of our deck. 26 cards in. Great, we got him. Sweet. That feels like a good one to end on. I like ending on a high note. We'll start Ratchet and Clank a little early today. Overall, this felt pretty fine. Unfortunately, at the bracket we were at, the matches we queued into, we didn't really run into any of the good Steam Vents decks. So, like, we didn't really get to experience playing against Phoenix or Jeskai Control or anything, which, from a testing perspective, is sad, but from a quality of gameplay perspective, it was fairly enjoyable. I think the big question you want to ask yourself when you play when you're looking at variations of this versus, like, say, the more tokens-based build on my website is how exposed to graveyard hate do you want yourself to be? So, Kroxa is a very uniquely powerful card that gives this archetype staying power against board-based interaction, like sweepers, things like Sweltering Suns and Lightning Helix. However, Looting and Kroxa are both made incredibly awkward by relics and Soul Guide Lanterns and Rest in Peace and the occasional Leyline of the Voids that you see in this format. So I think it's like it's a risk tolerance type question. I think if you're willing to expose yourself to those powerful hate cards, this Kroxa build is probably a little bit more powerful than the tokens build I have on my website. But from a consistency across a 3-game set standpoint, I think I would prefer the tokens build overall. But I don't think it's a strictly better, strictly worse comparison. I think it's definitely a power level trade-off to what you're willing to expose yourself to on the other side of the board. And honestly, if you're someone who's into best of one historic for whatever reason, this is probably better than the tokens build in best of one because you're less likely to run into graveyard hate there. All right. Let's dive into some Ratchet and Clank, huh? I'll be back tomorrow morning with some more Magic if you're just here for Magic. We had a sweet Modern League as well as 2 Historic Leagues that'll be up on my YouTube channel this evening. Tomorrow, we're going to be dipping back into more Historic Commander / Brawl. That format was a blast the last 2 days, so we're going to play some more of that. We're going to be doing some more Modern tomorrow morning. For this afternoon, we're going to be continuing Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart on the PS5.